reflect those of the staff and management of KWAM.
Welcome to the Variety Hour on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Listen to you move your mouth. I bet you come from way down south. Now don't tell me, let me guess. You from the town that I love best. Talk Memphis, I wish you would. Talk Memphis, you sound so good. Talk Memphis, high on the bluff. I swear I can't get enough. Listening to you talk that stuff. Talk Memphis, oh yeah. Talk Memphis.
This is the Memphis Real Estate Hour on KWAM. And now, here's your host, Dean Harris.
All right, good morning, everybody. I am your host, Dean Harris. I'm with CrestCore Realty over on Summer Avenue. Thank you guys for tuning in this morning at either on AM 990 Memphis, 107.9 FM, or some of you could be streaming the show here on the internet, kwam990.com. So we appreciate you guys tuning in there. The Memphis Real Estate Hour, guys, concentrates on investing in Memphis real estate, and we will focus on our residential real estate market a little bit, just to keep you up to date on what's going on there. And I'll have local and national vendor partners of ours, of CrestCore Realties, on the show from time to time, sharing knowledge with you on how to become an investor or how to become a better investor in Memphis, Tennessee. We'll have the investment of the week this week. I've got two really good properties. Both of them are occupied and cash flowing right now. So I've got two really good ones here at the bottom of the hour that I'm going to give you the investments of the week. You can also go to our website, www.crestcorerealty.com. You can check out all of the investments of the week as well as all of my active listings, which are just about all investment properties. So I remind you guys every single show that myself and Dan, we're both investors. If you guys have that home that you need to sell quickly, or if you know somebody that has a home they need to sell quickly, we don't care what the condition is. I don't care where it's at. I don't care anything about the property. I just want to take it off your hands. Sometimes you've inherited this, got it in a will. Grandma used to live there, and you just need to get rid of it. Give me a call or an email, dean@crestcore.com. That's dean@crestcore.com. Or you can shoot me a text as well, too, 901-619-6170. Facebook Live, guys. We're on Facebook Live this morning and every Tuesday that we do the show, so we welcome you guys to tune in on your Facebook accounts and join us here live. If you don't have time or can't join us here live every Tuesday at 8 a.m., we always post the show on the show's Facebook page, so you can go and look, and we've got, 25, 26 videos up from the previous weeks. So you can check out our topics. The headers of the shows are on there, so you can go take a look and listen at your leisure. Last week on the show, Dan and I talked about, we had part 2 of the contractor triangle. Dan, welcome to the show. We'll go ahead and bring you in. Hey, so what kind of feedback did you get from the contractor triangle? I got a ton.
Just, it's a good debate, you know, like you want your cake and ice cream and
want it all, man.
Sprinkles on top with a cherry. So
Dan comes from working with our maintenance and rehab department. So you come from one side of the fence. I'm on the other side of the fence, just using that department and knowing what to expect. But you guys, as an investor out there, I would encourage you to go back to our Facebook page and listen to those shows. The last 2 weeks, I did part 1 and part 2 of the contractor triangle. So I would encourage you to tune in there. Great information on what you can expect from contractors, what to look for, how to pay them. I mean, we pretty much covered everything, so I would encourage you to look back on those shows. Today's show, we're talking about how to survive in this market, how to find deals in a hot market. So we're gonna dive right into that today. So let's go ahead and start, Dan. How to survive in this market? What is this market? What are we in right now?
Well, we're in a whole different market than we were, 08 through probably 2012, right?
Yeah.
We slowly, I guess, since 2012, 2013, slowly built up steam.
Yep.
In the real estate space specifically. So I think, back in 2008, 2012, it was a distressed market. You could buy houses at auction. You could do short sales, foreclosures. Bank REOs were rampant. That's one of the secrets to our success is just getting all the banks that we deal with, get their properties.
Yeah.
That's how we built our portfolio, and that's just not there anymore.
It's really not, is it?
I mean, you get onesie, twosie here every once in a while.
But you're not getting calls saying, hey, we got to unload 20
I was
ounces.
getting the calls once a month, just
Saying we got 10,
we got
20.
10, 5, 3, 20. Yeah, so that's gone. For now.
I was about to
For
say.
now. For now.
It's a cycle, right?
That's
I mean,
right.
don't you think that'll end up
Yeah.
coming back?
Yeah, and I don't know if it'll ever be like it was. Who knows? We don't have a crystal ball because we just don't know. I mean, capitalism drives people's desire to make money, right? And
It
so
does.
if they can make money doing a mortgage a different way and think that the same people that you tried to loan to the last time will be successful this time, then, they're going to try to make that work. I mean, I've already heard, I forget who it was we were talking to last week, that they're already doing undocumented loans again.
I'm telling you, I
like-
believe I heard somebody last week tell me that it was 2 weeks ago. I was talking to a mortgage lender, and they said that they've lowered credit scores again.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Lower credit scores, I heard.
Yeah, 640 used to
undocumented
be
stuff.
it, man. You're not getting a loan without a 640.
Was it 620 now?
620, and I
Yeah.
even heard some banks will do a 610 with a 600 and a 610.
Really?
The high rate. So here it comes down.
Here it comes.
And
Yeah, because you got to create the opportunity, right?
you have to. The banks have got to. I mean,
You
if
got to
they
keep
can't
the stuff flowing.
Yeah, if they can't find a way to loan money, then they're not making any
Right.
money. So that's what the trouble. Now I don't think we'll get down to, I think I've said this many a times, but we were loaning, not we, but the industry was loaning people 530 credit scores and stated income.
Oh yeah. I know,
Imagine getting that now.
I know. That's. I mean, the banks and institutions have done a good job tightening everything up. But obviously, I think we all think a lot of us think that it was too tight,
Yeah.
because it shut things down.
Completely.
So now they're opening back up. It's just where do you stop? I
Right.
think that's where the key is. Where do you stop
That's right.
to keep yourself protected? So
We're certainly in a seller's market. I don't with the inventory count. And this goes for not just our neck of the woods, which is investment stuff, but for retail.
yeah.
I mean,
You think it's hotter retail or hotter investment? Or you think it's just
I
equally
think it's
the same
just equally the same
all across the
our
board?
city is equally the same because Wendy came on a couple weeks ago and told us that half our sales are investment sales here in Memphis.
Have you ever heard me mention the street Lamar?
Yeah, it's coming over there. So
I was over at Jackson yesterday. I was taking a new investor, just showing him the city and just talking through different areas, and even like Jackson, you can just see it creeping. You know what I mean? Like
just getting closer and closer to Lamar.
like the Midtown, you're just getting closer and closer, and then going towards Lamar, Central and Cooper Young, going towards Southern. It's going to keep just creeping slowly. I don't know if it's a 5-year, 10-year, I don't know, but there is no more land.
Yeah.
That's an absolute, but there's very little land left.
Yep.
And so you got the houses that could be remodeled, and it's just going to take somebody taking the chance, right?
That's right.
So
Well, I'm excited to see some of those areas improve. I guess it's just from what flipping. You think just people buying houses that are cheap and turning them over nice.
I think so, yeah. Or somebody that's more entrepreneur, that wants to buy it and fix it up themselves to live in, and taking that chance to just be. I mean, my college roommate did that in Columbia, South Carolina. He would go 3 blocks out from where they, the good, and so he was a little bit in a rough for a while. But now his house is probably worth triple what he put into it originally, because he got a steal of a deal because just the area wasn't there yet.
Right.
So.
What are you hearing investors say now, or what are you hearing even just retail buyers, or what are you hearing investors talk about?
I didn't write this down, but am I too late to the party? I've heard that so many times the last month.
I've heard something similar. Is
Yeah.
this the right time since it's so hot?
How do you answer that? Let's compare notes. How do you answer? If somebody
answer-
says I'm too late, what do you say?
Well, if they come in and they ask me, is it too late? So you paid, 10%, 15% higher right now than what you might have 2 years ago. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, if you wait even longer, it might be 10 or 15% more. It could be. Or if it doesn't, and let's just say it goes up another 10% in a year and it flatlines, and then it takes another 2 years for it to come back down, you're going to waste 3 years of getting in the game because you want to buy it right or what you think is right.
Right.
to me, if you can find a property now that can cash flow, meet your numbers that you're looking for, buy it. Is it more than what you would want to normally spend or what you think you could? Maybe.
Right.
But you get those wheels churning. And then in 2 or 3 years, you come back and you have the opportunity to buy some more that are maybe a little bit cheaper that you just continue to buy. You've got your experience. You're already in the game. If you're nervous about prices being too high, then don't come in and spend every dime you have. Get into it a little bit. Get your business model going.
Yeah, figure it out.
Figure it out. Figure out what works and what doesn't work with a few properties at a time. But I always remind folks of why they're in this. Okay? I go back to this. Why are you in this, Mr. Investor or Mrs. Investor? Well, I'm in this because I want to have 20 houses paid off and retire off that. Okay? Well, remember that the end game is the same. Whether you paid 55 for a house or 48 for a house, the end game is the same. You want it paid off.
Right.
So don't delay and don't wait now.
You just taught me into buying one.
Yeah, I was about to, you want to go right now?
Right, your contract.
Yeah, we can play a replay on the show. Go buy it.
That's right.
But I mean that is the truth. Why? And by the way, this is what I do for a living, right?
That's right. I was like, you sound like a sales guy.
Yeah. Well, and that is the truth.
No, I agree.
Get into it and try to, start your business, but don't delay. All you're doing is delaying the inevitable. You want to pay off houses. You want residual income. Don't let your whole business plan for 25 years be affected by what's going on right this second.
Well, and I relate it to stocks. Like in your 401k, do you just stop putting money in the 401k because the market's crazy right now?
Right.
Or your 529 for your college, for your kids, or whatever that investment vehicle that you do? No. You're buying it in the ups and downs.
Right.
And you're riding that storm, and just over time, it takes care of itself. And so same thing with the house. It was epiphany for me during the crash, because when I first started, off of a specific story I could tell you, I bought a house at, say, $55,000 on right off of Macon. Well, Douglas and I bought 2 of them, literally 3 doors down, and that's that during the crash for $35,000. And part of me got mad. I'm like, man, I can't believe I paid $55,000 for that house.
Right.
But I went to the same kind of realization you said. I'm like, the whole goal is they both cash flow.
Yeah.
Now, one cash flows a lot better,
Right.
but the end game is to get to zero,
Yeah.
pay it off, and both of them will spit out the exact same long-term income. And maybe, I love people to challenge our logic, but, I always tell people, if you got it managed, you can plan on a decent, like an $800 rental, paying you about $4,000 a year in income. So that $55,000 or the $35,000 at the end of the day is still going to give you, because they're both rented for $800 a month. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so they're both going to give you the same output now it's going to look different. Your leverage return and cash on cash, all that's going to be different. I agree. But at the end of the day, if I want 20 houses, the numbers are still the same, times $4,000 a year, that's $80,000 a year. No matter if you pay 35 or 55, as long as it cash flowed during those. Does that make sense?
It does to me.
So the only difference I would say is if you start having to get to where you're doing, instead of a 15-year note, a 30 to make it work, if 15 your model.
If it's your model. I'm still saying if the only end game is to have them paid off, okay, you don't want this to pay your car note this month. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
if your end game is to have them paid off, which that's mine, I believe that's yours.
That's mine. Yeah.
I want to retire off of rental property, and that's been a goal of mine for a long time. So if you share that goal, and you're thinking about I shouldn't get into this right now, I would ignore those thoughts, ignore that little demon on your shoulder telling you not to do it. My thought and my conversation with you would be get into it. Start buying a couple of here and there. Look and search for hot deals. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Look and search for hot deals. Go to your trusted real estate agent that does this. But go ahead and get into it. Yeah, you do.
I do.
Hey, but so get into it. The end game is the same. You're going to pay a little bit more throughout the process. But I think have the same philosophy with hard money lenders. You've heard me say this 100 times. Yes, that's a higher rate, but the end game is to pay it off. So everybody wins and you get the thing paid off, then it works how you wanted it to.
And I'll give a shout out. I think I posted on Facebook that book, Dave Van Horn's Investing in Notes.
Yep.
And it's his story about investing. Now he's a note buyer, second mortgages, multi-million-dollar business. But he said the same thing. Like, he would just hammered home, like, you use the money, using other people's money to it kept pushing that leverage.
Yep.
And he it is what it is. Like, to get in the game, whatever you got to do. Now, be smart about it. Don't be reckless.
Just throw yourself at the wind, but
be methodical. Have a plan. Make sure the numbers still work. I've seen hard money analysis where you can take a house that you did hard money and didn't do hard money, and the return is a little bit less with hard money, but you got the velocity, and
at the end, what's the numbers at the end?
The return is still
the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're not using this for monthly income, it's the same.
Right.
And I encourage you to keep moving. I'm talking to Dan Butler here with CrestCore Realty about how to survive in this market. We're going to talk about how to find some deals in this market when we come back. Take a real short break, and we'll be right back with your investments of the week. You guys are listening to the Memphis Real Estate Hour on 107.9 The Voice.
You're listening to the Memphis Real Estate Hour on KWAM. We'll be right back after this.
Now, here's Mid-South weather from News Channel 3's Severe Weather Center. Brought to you by the Crescent Club, hosting the people and ideas that moved Memphis forward for nearly 30 years. Poplar and I-240. Call for a free tour at 901-684-1010.
Continued mostly sunny, breezy, and warmer. High temperatures climbing into the lower 80s this afternoon. South winds picking up 10 to 15 miles an hour. Mostly clear and mild with mid-60s overnight. We're right back up into the lower 80s for your Wednesday and Thursday. Memphis Spine and Rehab has located to the Germantown area across from Chick-fil-A on Wolf Trail Cove. Check them out at thememphisspine.com or call 901-751-0939. I'm News Channel 3's Todd Demers. On The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Griffin, Clift, Everton, and Mashmeyer, PLLC, is a full-service law firm with over 50 years of experience in the Memphis area. Real estate closings have continued to be the forefront of their law practice, which include residential, commercial, and development real estate transactions, drafting and negotiation of real estate contracts and leases, business information, preparation of wills, probate, and estate planning. Their firm represents a number of builders, developers, investors, and local lending institutions, and is approved to close transactions for most local banks and mortgage companies. In addition, they offer title search, title examination services, and title insurance through several well-established title insurance companies in the Memphis area, as well as Tennessee and Mississippi. They strive to offer services in a prompt and timely fashion while advising and representing clients in a zealous and professional manner. Should their offered services be of need, please contact William N. Griffin Jr. or any of their attorneys at 901-752-1133. They can also be found online at www.gcemlaw.com or on Facebook.
Is it a good time to buy or refi? Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? Are interest rates going sky high soon? Hi, I'm Ludy Calloway, the mortgage lady at iBank Mortgage. I tell my customers to ask questions, get answers. So join me every Monday morning at 8 and I will tell you what's going on in today's still changing mortgage world. Remember, most people think about mortgages a few times in their lives. I think about them every single day. Tune in Mondays at 8.
CBS Money Watch.
The White House has again postponed a decision on imposing tariffs on imports from Canada, Mexico, and the European Union. Those countries are waiting to find out if they'll be exempt from steel and aluminum tariffs announced by President Trump in March. The White House said its deadline had been extended 30 days. Meantime, closing arguments were heard yesterday in the AT&T Time Warner antitrust case. A DOJ lawyer suggested that AT&T be forced to give up some of Time Warner's assets if the $85 billion merger is approved. The judge's ruling will be issued on June 12th. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, log on to CBSMoneyWatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
To prevent muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This fast-acting foam is clinically proven to relieve leg and foot cramps. Get TheraWorks Relief today at select Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid pharmacies or TheraWorksRelief.com. Ask your pharmacist for TheraWorks Relief.
You're listening to the Memphis Real Estate Hour on KWAM. And now, here's your host, Dean Harris.
All right. Welcome back to the Memphis Real Estate Hour. Investments of the week. Guys, grab your pens. Grab your pencils. Get your notepads out. Got two good ones today. Two good cash flowing properties. 3,000 block of Ridgecrest. 38127. 3-bedroom, 2-bath property. It's occupied at $700. It's a nice brick home too. Occupied at $700. Seller is asking $46,900. That's the 3,000 block of Ridgecrest in 38127. 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. Occupied at $700 a month, and this list price is $46,900. That's a good one. Those are good numbers. If you can get this thing for 43 or 44, it's cash flowing right now. I know the owner is taking really good care of this one, so I mean, it's hard to beat that.
How many listings do you have right now?
92.
92.
Picking up 3 more today.
95.
Break that 100 mark.
I know. What are you waiting on?
Selling them 2 foot.
Yeah, that's right.
It's hard to catch up and selling them every day.
Yeah.
Don't ask me those questions.
I know. You always got an answer.
1721 Colleen, 1,000 block of Colleen in 38111. This is Highland View subdivision over in 38111. 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Occupied at $525. Seller is asking $41,900. Two really good properties here, guys. You're looking at $1,225 in cash flow for probably $85,000. So if you look at, if you're asking yourself, what makes sense, this does. $1,200 a month for about $85,000. It's hard to beat that. I know it's 2 properties. You got 2 different things, 2 property taxes, so you'll have to factor in your numbers a little bit differently. But good cash flow, good properties in good rental areas. I mean, you won't have any trouble getting these rented. So if you got any other questions about the investments of the week, you can email me at dean@crestcore.com, or you can go to our website, www.crestcorerealty.com. Before we went on break, we were talking about how to survive in this market. What are people talking about, Dan? We got into that, and what are some of the indicators? Like when you're, if you're an investor out there and you're analyzing our market, and you're not a agent like myself, or you're not a appraiser or somebody that's actually working in the business now, what are some of the indicators that you would look for in this market to kind of tell what's going on?
Building permits, existing home sale. This reminds me, Wendy needs to be here for this little. We should have
Wendy's great. Yeah, let's give Wendy a quick plug. Wendy Greenlaw with Chandler Reports.
Yeah.
You guys go to chandlerreports.com to check out a lot of our market trends.
I think you should subscribe to that. I got the subscription for a year.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Oh, I got your password.
Yeah, you got my
No,
password.
I'm just
Don't tell. I gave you my password, and now I don't have access. I just come to your computer. Building permits, mortgage loan defaults, foreclosure sales, interest rates, and then you get into kind of like job growth, what kind of jobs, what kind of sector that is. I get hit that a lot. What kind of city is Memphis?
What do you tell them? I get that too.
I'd love to hear what you say.
Sensitive. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what I say is FedEx, International Paper, AutoZone, all those are great. I said, but like the FedEx, the people that feed FedEx, Williams-Sonoma, Nike,
the Amazon plant that's coming.
The issue that I have, not issue, but the thing that makes us a steady Eddie, and where they always hammer on, why do you have so many rentals versus other cities? And it's because 80% of the jobs are going to be in that $13, $14, $15 hour range, and then the 20% is going to be your supervisor, manager kind of level, versus where I'm from, Greenville, South Carolina, for example, BMW came to town. Huge manufacturing plant making maybe the Z3, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, think of who's going to come to support BMW. It's a whole different ball game than shipping packages. Meaning, the tire manufacturer, the bumper manufacturer, the sensor manufacturer, the fabric. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
all these plants started popping up,
Yeah.
all within an hour of BMW to supply that plant because it's just feeding a beast. And those jobs are very technical.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you got maintenance and electricians and welders and.
I talk about the same things. I talk about FedEx and Nike, and I talk about, you know, if you're wanting to invest in the South Memphis area, I talk about the airport, the jobs around the airport, the, you know, the logistics in there, the just freight, shipping, all that, all those jobs that require that. North, I talk about the big Nike plant in Fraser, or Raleigh.
I mean, I went by the other day.
Keeps growing, dude.
I mean, the trailers were like a sea of trailers. I mean, I'm talking. I bet there was 1,000 at least. I've never seen anything like. It's just gone.
I don't know how many
bonkers.
jobs are up there, but it's a
either.
ton. It's a ton. There's cars and cars for days and days and days.
And millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions probably of inventory
flowing through there every month. So I talk about some of those different jobs and different, you know, blue collar jobs that we've got here. I used to talk about the casinos that it drove bankruptcy. We used to have the highest bankruptcy, first time bankruptcy rate here. So I mean, those are.
Are we out of that?
I haven't checked those numbers recently.
Yeah,
That's
that'd be a good
one thing to ask Wendy. But it used to, you know, even just as recently as 3 or 4 years ago, I talked about bankruptcy here and first time bankruptcy. You know, filers.
It was a big deal here.
It was a big deal. That might have calmed down a little bit, but yeah, I used to talk about that some. I mean, that's what keep tenants.
We were talking about that this morning. We got one employee who's part of their job is to just track bankruptcies.
Wow.
You know, just make sure that we're meeting judges' requirements and attorneys and just all the legalese that go with that. So,
you can also kind of take the info for your current market, look at your investment strategy. When you think about that, you know, Dan, where do you go? When you think, you know, I need to analyze kind of where I'm investing in, what I'm investing in. We just talked about some of the areas that we like to go to, but what are some of the ways and some of the different ideas that you can have when you talk about, hey, I'm getting into this?
I mean, you know, you could go from buy and hold to more of a flip strategy. You know, you could go back to wholesaling because you just make some quick money and save up to where, you know, when the market changes to buy the properties you want to buy. You can start selling turnkey. You know, I met a guy in Colorado that's in one of our mastermind groups that he just started doing maintenance rent readies for other people. You know, staying in the realm and staying relevant and staying in the business,
but not buying.
But in Colorado, it's crazy.
Yeah,
you're talking about, you know, people talk about Memphis. Colorado is like just bonkers.
The dispensary business is huge in Colorado. That's true. That and the pizza places.
The pizza places, yeah. Yeah, that's right. 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's right. Well, and I kind of hear what you're saying. You know, going back and forth. We have a friend of ours that does that. You know, wholesale, flip, buy and hold rentals. I kind of relate it to being an agent and not doing just one thing. You know, I made that mistake.
Yeah.
I just started off in new construction and only did one thing, and then when that crashed, so did I.
Right.
So I've learned from that a little bit. So I would tell and encourage any investor to, you know, get good at one thing. You know, start one thing and become really good at it. Get your business model down, but then diversify your time and your investments.
I mean, I've wrote some down here that just, you know, single family to go to multifamily, or multifamily or to go to small office and retail. Go to I syndicate to a large multifamily, like where, you know, you and I couldn't go just buy a 500 unit apartment, but we could go partner in with 20 other people and just own a chunk of a small piece of a large pie. You see what I'm saying? Like, it looks different, but you're still investing. You're still moving forward. You could, you know, I think, is it realty? I mean, there's a ton of them out there, but the people that want money from us to lend to others.
Yeah.
So you could just take that route and get a return, you know, 8, 9, 10% return. You know, I saw some guys in Philly that were talking about that. Just
letting their money work for them.
Let the money keep working while they're trying to figure out what to do. You know, the worst thing you can do, I think, is if you have any kind of cash, is just letting it sit there.
Just doing nothing.
You know, if you think about the velocity of money, that's what I keep coming back to. Just keep that money moving, one way or another.
So, one thing that we've talked about is going into going into several different markets and going into diversifying and talking about other places to invest in. It's on our radar at CrestCore. I mean, this is no big announcement because there's other firms and people doing this, but we're going into a second market soon. We're excited about it, but I wouldn't be shy. I know wholesalers are real big into this. They can take their business model and bounce from anywhere. Yeah, they just mail them out. Look on Zillow, and there's your value, and mail it out. What I would encourage others to look into some of that. Little Rock is one that's similar to Memphis in the sense of it's got similar price ranges, similar rent ranges. I know Jackson, Mississippi has got I've sold a couple down there to some guys. So I mean, that's one idea that you can do. Yeah,
go to a smaller town. When the hedge funds aren't there, the demand. There's pluses and minuses to it.
What's a plus? Or let's start with the minus. What's a minus going into a new market?
Just got to be real keen on the jobs and what that market's doing. If it's a very depressed town. You just got to, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to go too far.
You don't want to come in and shooting your guns?
Yeah, you don't want to go in the middle of the Delta on a population of 6,000 people. That doesn't make any sense. But a town that has 100, 200,000 people versus Memphis of 1 million, you know what I mean? Like, that's still a viable market, at 100,000 people. That's a lot of activities. But then you got to figure out the same thing we were talking about with FedEx versus the BMW, like, what kind of jobs and where are people going and what kind of housing they're going to need. Are they going to need $1,000 house or are they going to need the $500 house based on what the market?
So I've heard from national investors, Kansas City, Birmingham, Dallas,
Oklahoma City.
I've
heard Indianapolis.
I've heard
Cleveland.
Of Indianapolis.
I've heard a little bit of Cleveland.
I hear a lot of Cleveland.
Heard Pittsburgh.
And Detroit.
Detroit's big. They've got so many. I didn't realize how big Detroit is.
They got zip codes that are boarded
I can't wait. We're going to see some guys from Detroit this weekend. I can't wait to talk to them and just see what.
You think that's on the take right now, then?
Oh, man. Well, they bulldozed a ton.
Yeah,
and then what's left now, that guy that, is it Quicken?
Yes.
The founder, or not founder, I don't know if he's founder. He owns the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's pumping money into that city left and right, so that's drawing. It's just drawing, a ton of people, a ton of money. So we know a bunch of turnkey guys up there that are.
I think it's smart what he's doing.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Building an empire.
While
helping at the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
However you want to look at it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, if he wasn't able to get the prices, I doubt he'd be doing it. But yes, his name is man, I'm drawing a blank.
Dan Gilbert.
Dan Gilbert is the guy's name.
Good first name.
And
must be a smart guy.
Must be a real intelligent
That's
guy.
Right.
Dan Gilbert owns the Cleveland Cavs. Started Quicken Loans. Now it's Rocket Mortgage. And it's just a revitalization of Detroit. So anyway, there's other markets that you can go into and other things that you can dive into. I'm talking to Dan Butler with CrestCore Realty. We're going to take another quick break. We're going to come back and talk about how to find deals in this market. It's a hot market. It's this, it's that, and the other. So we're going to talk about how you can, as an investor, go about finding some hotter deals. You're listening to the Memphis Real Estate Hour on AM 990 Memphis.
You're listening to the Memphis Real Estate Hour on KWAM. We'll be right back after this.
Now, here's Mid-South weather from News Channel 3's Severe Weather Center. Brought to you by the CrestCore, hosting the people and ideas that moved Memphis forward for nearly 30 years. Poplar and I-240. Call for a free tour at 901-684-1010.
Continued mostly sunny, breezy, and warmer. High temperatures climbing into the lower 80s this afternoon. South winds picking up 10 to 15 miles an hour. Mostly clear and mild with mid-60s overnight. We're right back up into the lower 80s for your Wednesday and Thursday. Memphis Spine and Rehab has located to the Germantown area across from Chick-fil-A on Wolf Trail Cove. Check them out at thememphisspine.com or call 901-751-0939. I'm News Channel 3's Todd Demers. On The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Griffin, Clift, Everton, and Mashmeyer, PLLC, is a full-service law firm with over 50 years of experience in the Memphis area. Real estate closings have continued to be the forefront of their law practice, which include residential, commercial, and development real estate transactions, drafting and negotiation of real estate contracts and leases, business information, preparation of wills, probate, and estate planning. Their firm represents a number of builders, developers, investors, and local lending institutions, and is approved to close transactions for most local banks and mortgage companies. In addition, they offer title search, title examination services, and title insurance through several well-established title insurance companies in the Memphis area, as well as Tennessee and Mississippi. They strive to offer services in a prompt and timely fashion while advising and representing clients in a zealous and professional manner. Should their offered services be of need, please contact William N. Griffin Jr. or any of their attorneys at 901-752-1133. They can also be found online at www.gcemlaw.com or on Facebook.
Is it a good time to buy or refi? Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? Are interest rates going sky high soon? Hi, I'm Ludy Calloway, the mortgage lady at iBank Mortgage. I tell my customers to ask questions, get answers. So join me every Monday morning at 8 and I will tell you what's going on in today's still changing mortgage world. Remember, most people think about mortgages a few times in their lives. I think about them every single day. Tune in Mondays at 8.
You're listening to the Memphis Real Estate Hour on KWAM. And now, here's your host, Dean Harris.
All right, welcome back. Right before we left, Dan and I were talking about how to... Dan, what were we talking about?
Nothing really.
How to survive. Just empty air.
How to survive the market.
How to survive this market, and then now let's get into how to find these deals. So, you know, my first reaction is how do you find a deal is just to call me. But if you're that investor out there and you're just looking and you're searching along with your agent or along with whoever's helping you source these properties, which I recommend. I mean, I joke about, calling me as your agent, and I usually don't come on the show and say, hey, call us, I'm here to be your agent, and that's not really what this show's about. But, if you don't have anybody working for you, we'd love that opportunity. But if you do, go to them first and kind of come up with a strategy. That would be my first thing. Come up with your product that you're looking for. How powerful and how strong do you want that money to work for you? Do you want an 8% return? Do you want 18? So that's gonna vary on the type of product. But when somebody asks you, because my reaction is because it's my, this is what I do. I just say, hey, let's meet and let's talk, and I'll help you find it. But when investors come to you and you're just having a casual conversation, not necessarily pumping CrestCore,
right?
What do you go to? How do you tell them to look? Better yet, how did you look? I think that's more valuable than what you tell people. I think our listeners want to know what we do as professionals in the business. So, as a mini homeowner or mini investment homeowner, what do you do to start searching when the deals are drying up? Because you and Douglas aren't done buying.
Correct.
So what are you guys doing now when you're searching and when you're looking? If you think, man, I need to add 5 or 10 properties.
I think we stay in front of people. That's probably the key, and it's very hard.
So
it's
consistency,
being in front of people, whether it's your bankers or your agents or property managers that you're friends with or wholesalers. Had lunch with a wholesaler, going to meet with the bank tomorrow. It
you're
just never
king
stops.
Of wholesaler lunches, aren't you?
Wholesaler lunch, that's right. Got to give a shout out to Anthony. He gave me a book yesterday, 7 Habits.
Yeah, Anthony.
Hadn't read that. Frank, yeah.
Oh yeah, great guy.
Yeah, good dude. He's going to be an up and comer. But anyway, so just again, he was looking for a win-win. I'm looking for a win-win. If I can help him, then when the deals come, he's going to think of us.
Right.
And vice versa. What can we do to help him? So, I think networking, getting that net out there, consistency, and doing it, as selflessly as you can. Now we've talked about this in previous shows, like not just what's in it for me. While you're talking to them, what else can you help them with? if it's just a one-way street, you know, there's plenty of one-way street people that they can hand deals to. Does that make sense?
Sure.
But if you could help them build their business, you know, with Anthony, I was just talking to him about processes and systems, and, you know, hopefully he walked away with some nuggets to help get him, you know.
I think if you give back, which you're really good at this, but I think if you give back to your bankers, to your wholesalers, to your contacts, they will think of you first.
Yeah, when I'm talking to the bank, it's not just what deals you got for me or what can you do for me. It's like, well, who's your ideal client?
Yeah.
And so then when you and I have conversations with people, you know, I know which bank out of all the banks we talk to, you got this guy from California who wants to do X. I know that goes to this bank.
Yep.
If this guy wants to do Y, I know it goes to this bank because I know what they're hungry for.
And the banks certainly return that favor when they get properties that come in. They call you first.
Yeah, and just they help our clients and helps our growth. And so, again, it's not about, you know, just what we want, what we need. It's also what others need. So I think that's a big piece that a lot of people miss, you know, and then the consistency is huge. You know, I think that's...
Sure. One thing here that we wrote was be laser focused on what you wanted to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, I think that gets lost with an investor, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't, I'm just trying to think of the right way to put it. If you're an investor out there and you're saying, man, I'll just take anything that's a deal, I think you get sidetracked on your personal goals. Because truth be told, you're not going to buy everything.
No, there's no way.
You don't want to buy a $300 a month rental and a $1,200 a month rental.
It's going to feel totally different.
It's going to feel you're running several different businesses.
Yeah.
So I like the note of stay laser focused on what you want to buy or what you were trying to do.
Well, just like, you know, wrote down, just if you want a 20-unit apartment, man, go make an offer on every single 20-unit apartment in Memphis, whether it's listed or not.
That's what I'm saying.
If you're willing to do that work, I guarantee somebody that owns a 20-unit, there's probably hundreds of people that own a 20-unit apartment. And this is purely an example.
Yeah.
You will find somebody that's willing to sell.
And probably willing to sell at a fair number.
At a fair, yeah, because most of them, you know.
Nobody's going to give it to you.
No, they're not going to give it to you, but if you want to get in the game and pay a fair value, I mean, most investors, there's some that just don't understand, you know, that they're wanting the sky, you know, pie in the sky numbers, but you get down to it, I mean, they're realists and they know they sell something that they bought for $500 that cash flows up to $750, you know, and that's what I do. I just take the spreadsheet and say, look, you figure, I just hand it to them, literally. I mean, I've done this so many times. I just hand it to them. You make the spreadsheet work. If you want $1 million, just tell me how. It goes back to that: your price, my terms; your terms, my price. Okay, I'll pay $1 million.
Yeah.
But maybe it's 0% interest, or you know what I mean? Owner finance. I mean, and if I think it's $750, I mean, maybe there's a way to make $1 million work. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to change your mindset a little bit on that.
That's why I like the note: stay laser focused.
Yeah.
I mean, find something you're good at. You know, if you want $800 rentals, well then search the areas for $800 rentals and get you a few of them and get that business model running.
Yeah.
Then if you want to change or you want to go off of that game plan a little bit, then you can.
Call every Craigslist listing. Just do the search or Zillow for every $800 rental, and just call them and just see.
I'm not a you've joked, but I'm not a huge book reader. But I did listen to the Grant Cardone 10X book.
Yeah.
I listened to it. It's good.
Drive from Mississippi.
40-minute commute.
Did you listen to every chapter?
Almost all of it, yeah. I did. I mean, it was just about all
Good
of it.
stuff,
I think I have like a half one left. But he's super, Grant Cardone is you got to kind of watch what's for show, what's to sell.
Oh, there's definitely show
and the meat to what he's giving you. But the truth of the matter is he gives a lot of down to earth truth, and I love this 10X thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is, if you think you need to make 50 calls to get X amount of houses, you really probably need to do 500. Yeah.
And figure out your system to do 500.
Figure out your system to do it. Maybe somebody's helping you. Maybe whatever it is, but you got to make 10 times the effort and 10 times the work and the time that goes into that to reach some of your goals.
Well, that's just like getting a system in place to make 50 offers, there's not much difference to get the system in place to make 500. That's his point.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Just
Like,
keep
you're already
pushing.
working at it.
Yeah.
Just a little bit extra effort, and you've 10x'd your process, your goals, whatever that is, to create more results. His whole thing is get more results by 10x'ing your front end. So
become the best at your niche too. Consistency, and consistency. I mean,
can you say that again?
Consistency.
Yeah.
Could you do it 10 times quick?
No, I can't. It'd be embarrassing.
I'd love to have that on record.
That to me, is probably the biggest piece at the end of the day for all this we've ever talked about and all the shows that we've ever done.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Is
consistency.
Yeah,
it's so hard to be consistent.
Because if you come in and out, then your results are going to be in and out.
Yeah, and guy I talked to yesterday, that's what one thing. Well, I took a hiatus, and guess what? I mean,
that's back to ground zero.
You're back to,
I don't
you're
care what
over.
you say. If you take a hiatus and you stop for a year and a half, whatever, you might as well just say, I'm starting over from scratch. Because everything will have changed.
Well, this radio show is a great example. How long have we been doing it? Over a year now?
2 years in June.
Is it really?
2 years in June.
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
How long have I been official? A little over a year? I'm just kidding.
No, about that.
I mean, but the point for us is, like, it's not the easiest thing to get your kid at school, get over here, get set up. I mean, Sunday afternoons preparing for radio show.
Yeah, because we make no money doing this.
No,
I'm not paid to do this. Dan's not paid to do it. We pay to do this.
We pay to do this. That's right. Secret.
Yeah,
and we pay to be on here.
Right. No, this is yes. And then you know me well enough to know that I don't structure my daily business around not reaching closings.
Right. So you ain't closing right now when you're in here with me.
I'm not. But this is but however, giving back through this microphone and giving back through this has given our company a lot more credibility is not the word. Given us a lot more of a bigger audience.
Credibility is fun to say. I think that's
because it makes it sound like we weren't credible before.
We weren't credible. We are credible.
Yeah.
We're just putting in content and just showing that we are truly servant leaders. That's what we want to do is serve others. Because people listen to this stuff and say we can't believe that some of the stuff that we talk about, the deals and the stuff that we've struggled on. But the whole point is we've been doing it almost 2 years, and every Sunday that's part of my routine. Everything when the kids are resting, and I go sit on the back porch and start thinking about what's a good topic for the week, and all that takes effort, and so.
Well, and to go back to the very beginning, because we've been talking about this, about staying consistency and going 10x. This is originally way out of my comfort zone.
Sure.
I'm not the agent that puts the picture on the billboard with my cell phone up to my ear.
Oh, that wasn't you?
Right.
On Poplar?
Right. Call Dean. That's just not it. That's not how I've run my business. I've been a word of mouth. So this was a big step and a big leap for me. I don't have any broadcasting experience. This is not something I've always had just a strive or a drive to do.
Right.
But it was a platform for us to show not only what CrestCore does and what we can provide, but to show our market and to show what is really out there. We always talk about, if you're a national investor listening, which is, 80-90% of my clients, you got to have a trusted voice. You got to have some people, boots on the ground, that term. And the fact that we're all under one roof and we're giving you this information is almost an open book. I mean, we have investors in our building almost every day. For sure 2 or 3 a week.
Right.
We have come through the building. We show them the back offices. You go into some management companies, you go into some real estate. I mean, you come to the front and that's it, and everybody's working the back. We're wide open.
Right.
Share everything that we have. So,
well, I mean, that's just part of it. I think and I didn't used to be this way. So, by the way, I think that's one thing that I'd love to share with the audience. Like, I thought I had secret sauce when I first started 01, and I did my little thing.
Yeah.
And I realized that there was a ton of people a lot smarter than I was.
Right.
And then I started meeting people that would pouring into me, and just light bulbs start going off. That's just part of, and that's part of, faith and everything else that tied into that. But just giving to others, but consistency is just where it's at. And then I think execution. I think you got to execute on whatever it is you put. So the guy at lunch yesterday was awesome. He's gonna virtual assistant, get SOPs in place, and so I said, all right, we're going to use SMART goal. You ever heard that?
No.
Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and with a time. He's like, all right, I'm going to have a VA set up by Friday. I'm going to have SOPs by next Friday. I said, all right, so I want you to text me.
You put him on a plan.
I said, and I have not, there's nothing in it for me. I'm just trying to help him. I said, I want you to text me this Friday, next Friday, and tell me, did you make a goal? And just.
So you left him with some challenges.
So that he'd execute, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's where it's at. I mean, if you don't execute, then you're going to be talking about a month from now, well, I still need to hire that VA, or does that make sense? Like,
it makes sense.
And then you can't keep moving forward. So
we have our own internal meetings and structure that we have to keep pressing forward. So I think it's something that you've got to have, set up. Go back and look at old deals. This is one that you find. How do you find them? Go back and look at old deals. You go back and search at old stuff?
Do I?
Yeah,
absolutely. Mm-hmm. Stuff that somebody said no to, a year ago. Go back and ask them. You change your mind? Anything different? There's a bigger pockets. There's a guy that I bet he's 80 years old. He's been doing it for 50 years. He was on bigger. It was an awesome radio. If I'll find it, I'll bring it up next.
Post it on the Facebook page.
I could post it on Facebook. That's a great idea. But he was just saying he called a lady every Friday for 2 years. And on the second year, on call number 100, something just happened where something happened to that property or whatever, and she's like, honey, I think I might sell to you. And guess what? He jumped in that truck and he took off, ran. But consistency, execution.
We've said this several times.
And then in his case, following up on old deals. So
if I hear it once, I've heard it 10 times from wholesalers. Man, I've been following up on this one for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I've been following up on this one for 3 months.
Sounds like Spencer.
That is Spencer. Yes, it is. I think, don't let up. Keep asking constantly.
Yeah.
Learn a long time
Social
ago.
media.
That's right. Social media. Utilize those tools. Blast what you need to over and over again. I mean, there's one mistake I see a lot of people making is they come into social media and they go out. And they come in and go out. That's one thing I'm proud of that we do is an everyday, constant Facebook through the show. We put houses and things on there so you guys can see.
And I'll give you, and this is just laying the cards out there. I travel. I mean, I've had a little bit of a season where I've done probably 3 weeks in the last 6 weeks. But I do it maybe once every 2 months. Mm-hmm. And Doug's is probably the same. And people think we travel every week. Because, we're just posted, hey, we're in Philly at this conference. Glad to be here. Can't wait to hook up with my buddy such and such, and just
people know you're moving, and
so they think we're traveling. I mean, it's just perception,
That's right.
And so they think we're out there networking constantly, and we are. I mean, we are, but not to the 10x that people. The perception is 10x of, and that's just because we're consistently posting out there what we're doing, and that helps. But
Dan, I appreciate your insight on this. So today, I was talking to Dan Butler with CrestCore Realty. We're talking about, how to survive in this market, how to find deals, how basically to live in a stressful market. Go to show's Facebook page. We're going to post a show right after this. If you have questions, let us know. Email me, dean@crestcore.com. Go visit our website, www.crestcorerealty.com. You can check out the deals of the week, investments of the week. So I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for good insight, Dan.
Amen.
Guys, we'll see you next Tuesday on the Memphis Real Estate Hour right here on AM 990 Memphis.